Have you ever heard of a candy called Sour Strips? I have 32 subscribers, so at the time of this recording, so probably not. Probably have, maybe, I don't know. But have you ever heard of a candy called Sour Strips? Well, according to a Reddit user, Sour Strips are a ripoff candy, according to a Reddit user, from a company they buy from on Amazon called First Choice Candy. So let me try to reword that a little bit so you get like better context. This Reddit user is making bold claims, very bold claims, but he probably not lying, but bold claims that Sour Strips is a rip-off candy from a company they buy from on Amazon called First Choice Candy. Sour Strips are a cartoon version of this First Choice Candy brand and charging 10 times the price, according to this user. And that, my friends, is branding 101. Let me say that one more time because I feel like it got jumbled up a little bit because it was like a pause and it was really weird, right? Sour Strips, according to this Reddit user, says it's a cartoon version and they're charging 10 times the price of First Choice Candy, which they ripped off of, right? Because they're a cartoon version of them. And that, my friends, is branding 101. Okay, clearly this user hasn't or isn't aware. I don't know why he would be, but let's just say he's just not aware of Advil ibuprofen effectively advertising and packaging their product to convince consumers that their ibuprofen is better choice than the cheaper generic versions of ibuprofen. Because respectfully, I believe they all work the same. They're ibuprofen and CDA, EFA, FDA, there it is, FDA approved. I feel like, one can't be more powerful and pay. I don't know. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I definitely buy the generic version of ibuprofen and it gets the job done. Only different ibuprofen that I've ever had experience with that knocks out my cramps is the one that my doctor gives me. So there's that. But still, I digress. And in today's podcast episode, I want to talk about direct-to-consumer brands who have successfully used social media and the internet to sell their product, like Sour Strips, who can repackage a product and brand it better so that people pay more for the exact product sold on Amazon at half the price. Man, that's the American dream right there, okay? So welcome to the Creators Initiative podcast, where we have a raw and authentic conversation about creating intentional media, our way to grow our personal brand and business. And I'm your host, DP, editor and unintentional content. What is that? I don't even know what that is. It's a new word. Part-time and content. Anyway, I'm your unintentional part-time content creator, Leia Lowe, who sometimes goes by Leah, sometimes goes by Leia. It's a whole thing. Please don't get upset like some of my friends because I don't refer to myself in the right way and maybe something I'm a liar. It is what it is. So I want to talk about my first direct-to-consumer DTC brand called Novell. Maybe it's Novel. Maybe it's Novell. Maybe it's Novel. But I feel like Novell. I don't know. Novel, formerly known as Alpha Forward, just sounds good. So for the sake of this episode, we're going to say, I can't choose. Depending on whichever I feel when I say this, Novell or Novell, formerly known as Alpha Forward, is the first direct-to-consumer DTC brand I want to talk about. So I have been following Evans Childs Fitness, that's her Instagram name, Evans Childs Fitness, since 2014. I don't know if I got any Gen Zs in here that are listening to the podcast, that are watching on YouTube. But man, what were you doing if you were born in 2000 and 2014? You were 14 years old. That's crazy. So, yeah, I was following Evan Shaw faithfully on the gram, when it was a weird little camera icon back in 2014. And I have seen the evolution of Evan's content and business from working out in a public gym to opening up a private gym and starting her alpha female training program to now opening Vanguard, which is the best kept secret gym in Tampa Bay, according to her gym's Instagram page. And I was there when she launched Alpha Forward clothing line in 2017. I'm still here. I never bought anything from it, but I am still here when it was rebranded as Novell in December of 2023. Watch me go on Instagram later and see how she pronounces it, and I've been hacking it up this entire time. But for now, it's Novell. This is Novell, okay? And the most impressive part of Evan's content and business growth / evolution is seeing her take the product photos herself. True story. I seen it with my own 2 eyes, okay? Modeling the clothing herself, investing in a videographer to create lifestyle videos of the brand or the gym for social media and her websites, because that's super important. I realize the more I work with an older generation, no disrespect to them, they think video is just for social media. They think video is just 9:16 social media 60-second videos. And I'm like, no. No. I'm here to provide value for you. I'm here to provide more than just a 9:16 video. We're repurposing these big 16:9 videos that we're going to use as website landing pages and, the little nice video that plays in the background as your header, like all those things. Like, come on, let's think about this. And if we're not thinking about it, I'm going to educate you. But yeah, she's using them for just more than social media, just more than a 60-second post for this month. And we're going to have to drop $6,000 next month on a new video. No, okay? Work smarter, not harder. Stretch your money, okay? So, her content and her branding hasn't always looked top tier, okay? None of us looked top tier in 2014, okay? No one cared. There was no standards and there was no sponsorships, okay? But hey, that didn't stop her. That didn't stop her from just getting started, showing up, and getting better every day, okay? So as the business grew and started making a profit, she reinvested that money. For my entrepreneurs who are new, who are just starting, and want to take all the money and just, I don't know what you're doing with it, but that's what we do in the beginning. That's what I'm still, now I've pretty much bought everything that I needed to make money and make a profit, but still, in the beginning, very much so, reinvesting the money right back in the business. And what was nice is watching her stories, Instagram stories, her posts where she was telling us that she's putting it back in the business. A lot of money she didn't spend, and just put it right back in the business. And now look where she at. So she reinvested the money to make essentially more money and an even bigger profit. And that's what a good, wise, smart business owner does, okay? So I can't tell you exactly how much Vanguard and Novell is grossing per year, but the life she posts on social media doesn't seem like one who's barely paying the bills every month, okay? I'm not that type of person that feels like, okay, if somebody has, a certain car and lives in a certain house, they must be making it, because, we can fake. We can definitely fake on social media, but she does have a really, really nice car, and I see that as it's a thing that people do, because, like I said, economy is not the greatest. Prayerfully it'll get better, but it's not the greatest. So usually put that money in a nice car. But she owns a house. She's doing better than most of us millennials. She owns a house. And I believe she's building another one that's from scratch. So I might not know. I might not, from a simple Google search, know how much that girl is making a year, but she's doing very well for herself. Okay? Very well for herself. So let's talk about the second DTC brand, direct-to-consumer brand. I know I keep breaking that down for you, but just in case for the people who don't remember, I wanna, just engrave that in your brain. So every time you hear DTC, B2B, B2C, you know what these acronyms, these letters stand for, okay? So DTC, direct to consumer, sour strips. Okay, so I am not a fan of sour candy whatsoever. Those sour when they're sour than they're sweet candy, hate it. I really do hate it. And there's never a time or place for me to actually eat sour candy. But actually, when I think about it, I'm not really a fan of candy in general. So there's that. But I am a fan. I am a fan of a small business on paper. And what I've seen a little bit from YouTube, grossing $3 million in 1 year and 40 million plus over the last 4 years. I'm really into that. I'm really watching that with a microscope. So personally, as an entrepreneur, I needed to get out of this headspace where I believed creating a website like Sour Strips or investing in product photography or graphic designer for social media assets cannot be a Google search away. Like, it cannot. Like, there's no way. These people cannot be found on the internet. These people cannot be found through a hashtag. Like, they're elusive. They're 1 in a million, and I can't find these people to create amazing assets like they have created for Sour Strips. But they're like a Fiverr search away. And that's like just one resource, one app for creatives to find other creatives, to hire them for jobs, freelance jobs. Had to get out of that mindset. It's really not that hard. It really is that simple. I mean, now finding somebody trustworthy that shows up and does good work, that might be a different thing. Spending a fairly good bit amount of money until you find that one that you never want to let go of, yeah, that happens. But I mean, we're out here taking risks. We're out here testing. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur that doesn't take risks, then why are you an entrepreneur? Because this is what it is. I mean, that's why I didn't want to become an entrepreneur. I didn't have a choice, but now I'm addicted to it, and I'm out here, and I'm doing my thing, and I love it, right? So take risks, spend money, find out, nah, that wasn't it. And we're going to learn from it, and we're going to learn from it quick, and we're going to still make our money back, and then we're going to make some more money, okay? So, like I said, had to get out of that headspace, and I've gotten out of that headspace. But like I was saying, it doesn't take a massive communications team or a massive creative agency to get this type of branding done. I don't know how much he spent. I wish I do know, but I can guarantee it wasn't like a 30-man team to do this, okay? And you know, you don't have to have a Fortune 500 company. You don't have to have 50 years to have branding like Sour Strips. Maybe 10 years, but not 50 years, okay? And I think with Max Tuning, it's 4 years. I think maybe him being on YouTube maybe has been 10 years, maybe 6 years, and then he started Sour Strips, and he's been doing that for the last 4 years. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no 50-year wait to create the branding and packaging and advertisement that Max Chewing and Sour Strips has created for this business that's grossing $3 million a year and $40 million over the last 4 years, which means he did great like his first year, but also too, he is using his platform, his influence on social media to get his brand out there. And he probably had some money that he could invest in there and just go out the gate. But still, I mean, he still had to create the following that would buy his product today through what? I don't even know how long Max has been on YouTube. Maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years. But it's been a minute. It's been him chipping away on Instagram or on YouTube to get where he is. But still, not 50 years. So there's that. That makes you feel better. I don't know if 10 years makes you feel better, but hey, 50 years is a lot. So that's half my life. I got 20 years till I get there. I no. So just no. Okay. So these successful entrepreneurs are taking time to learn product photography and graphic design, and then outsourcing the job to 1 or 2 people to make it even better than what they could have done after their business starts making a profit. So I hope to see this trend. I do. I hope to see this trend of successful entrepreneurs taking it upon themselves to learn branding so that they can make money, and then hiring out a department or hiring out the department or creating the department internally to make them even more money. Because I know I'm going to do a future YouTube topic or YouTube podcast episode about that, just from a recent discovery in-person meeting that I had with a small business here locally, that I just was like, oh my goodness, 25 years and you never market your business, like, at all? Not once? Not even a little bit? Not even like a Comcast commercial? Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna have to change that. We're gonna work on that. That's why I'm here. So there's that. And by the way, if you hear like static, it's just because my hair keeps hitting the mic, and I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to just flip that over a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now you have Max. You have Max Chewing and his Sour Strips, immaculate. You cannot deny that. It brings warm feelings to my heart, truly, looking at Sour Strips, even though I have no desire to ever buy that candy. But the branding, the packaging, just love it. Love that. Just love the characters and everything. Still don't want to eat that candy, but I respect it. The immaculate branding. Up against. Let me just redo that sentence just because I just was fangirling over the branding of Max chewing sour strips. So now you have Max and his sour strips, immaculate branding, up against First Choice Candies, mom and pop, and that's no shade, but mom and pop's branding, who sells the exact same sour belts, apparently for 10 times the price. That's sour strips. They're selling these Max belts for 10 times the price as First Choice Candies. Now, I'm going to do what the people asked on YouTube, so I hope you're watching this video on YouTube and show you some B-roll of the difference between First Choice Candy and sour strips from their website to their Instagram page. And I'm just saying, I've never ate either one of these sour belts, and I probably never will, but let's just say in an alternate universe, and just for branding alone, the product photography alone for their sour belts, I would be inclined to buy first would be the sour strips would be the sour stripes, the sour strips, then First Choice Candy. Especially there in Target too, but just from and this is psychology, and like I said, future YouTube podcast episodes will definitely talk about it, but like from a psychology standpoint, with the bright colors and the carrot, like it's just everything about it is just going to catch my eye before I even look at First Choice Candy, and I'm thinking, and also too, this is something that I learned when I was working at Lowe's and I was stocking. It was really cool. It was actually, love that part of the job, learning this bit, but learning that different vendors, like what's a vendor who sells some stuff at Best Buy. I don't know why I would tell you this, because none of us millennials own a home, so you wouldn't really be looking at John Deere lawnmowers for your house. That got depressing real quick. But let's just say in a better economy, in an alternate universe, we own homes, and we're looking at lawnmowers, specifically weed eaters, down aisle 12 at Lowe's, and John Deere. Which, when I think about it, I don't think John Deere even has weed eaters, but just stick with me. There's John Deere. There's that red one. I think it's Toro is the brand. Yeah, sure. We'll just go with that. Toro and like Husqvarna. Husqvarna was always a thing, and maybe Steel, right? Steel is like commercial weed eaters. This is information you don't care nothing about. And that no value to your life right now. But just stick with me. Just stick with me, okay? And Steel is probably going to spend more to be at eye level with you on the shelf. As people, not that we're lazy or anything, we're just never going to look down, and we're never going to look up. So we need things at eye level. And of course, they're not thinking about me. I'm 5 foot. Who cares? Everything's at eye level for me. But they're probably thinking about the average, like 5'8", 5'10", especially if men mostly are shopping in there, probably 5'10", 6 foot. So they're putting Husqvarna, they're putting Steel blowers and weed eaters and all the things at the top, and then putting, I don't even know, a great value version of weed eaters. I can think about it, but I can't think of the name. I think it's like First Choice or something like that. Who cares? Like I said, this is information you don't care a thing about. It's not helping your life. It's just a really good story, but they'll put them on the ground. It's a cheaper rental spot right there on the ground. But people got to be really dedicated and trying to save some money and really looking at price to look down and see your product on the floor versus the Husqvarna or the Steel blower that's 10 times the price at eye level, right? And so we go into Target, and Max sour strips are in Target. They're sold in Target. First Choice is not sold in Target. They're sold on Amazon, and they're sold through their actual website, right? But say that First Choice ventures into Target and they buy a cheaper space on the lower rack in the candy aisle at Target, and there is Max, which I saw Max just post on his story that he had all four. I think it might be different in a grocery store than it is at a hardware store, but he had his at eye level, bright, airy, just all in your face, these cartoon characters, sour strips, and then I could see First Choice with this like very see-through bag, bland on the ground or on the lower level, and just never would even give it a second thought. after knowing or seeing that they sell the same Sour Belts. And that, my friends, is branding. I mean, it is what it is, you know? Not only is this guy eye level, but he's also charging even more for the same candy that that person down on the ground is selling. But that's branding. That's branding. That's why he's grossing $3 million a year. And First Choice, I can't even tell you. I tried to look up and try to find out, could not find it. In a future, and actually no, I'm gonna say in a future episode, I'm gonna say in this one, I'm not saying that you should be that company that makes like $3 million a year or anything like that. You know, they're a mom and pop shop. They have a physical location in California and got an Amazon storefront. They're making money. They're probably making really good money. But here's the thing. If more and more candy companies come in selling the same strips and you get left in the dust and all these competitors are getting all these consumers, these customers buying their candy, you got to do something about that. You got to have better marketing, better branding, better packaging, something so that people choose you, pick you over the competition, you know? I mean, it's fine right now. Sour Strip's beating us out, but we're still making our money. People locally buy our stuff. But if there ever comes a time, which is what I'm seeing right now with these current companies that I'm working with, if there ever comes a time that somebody comes in on your territory and takes up space and takes all your customers, what are you going to do? How are you going to stand out from these people that have been marketing, have been branding, have been investing for years to make sure that that problem never happens? That's my soapbox. That's just my soapbox. It's just, oh my goodness, that's just my soapbox. It really is, because it's very disheartening. It's very sad to see companies that have been in business for 25 plus years, 50 plus years go out of business because I didn't think there was anything important in branding and marketing, you know? And even I'm sitting here as I was researching this video and being like, no, I really want to be a company that makes $40 million a year. I don't need to make $40 million a year. I feel like that's like more problems, more overhead. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then again, I'm just like, well, maybe I'm not making $40 million a year, but I'm really investing in the branding and standing out amongst, you know, from my competition where people know what I offer, know who I serve, all these things where I never have to worry about someone coming in doing the same thing I'm doing, but they just market themselves better. They just brand themselves better and take future clients and the current clients that I have. There's just so much. That's a deep dive episode, but that's just my little rant. That's my little 2 cents. And I'm going to go on to my third DTC, okay? My third direct-to-consumer brand, which is BPN, which is my absolute favorite, if I'm being completely honest. I actually have bought products for them. So Nick Bare and BPN hold a special place in my heart. He's really his goals, and I've been following him for quite some time on YouTube. If I'm being honest, Nick Bare is the reason I was like, you know what, starting a YouTube channel for my personal brand, for my business, for people to know, like, and trust me, was built out of the idea of watching his stuff. And I feel like it's one of those things, just because I don't sell supplements doesn't mean that people can't see behind the scenes and how I work and what I do. You know, I just thought it was a great business move, and it has paid off tremendously for him. So let's just talk about it, okay? So I want to say, first and foremost, when it comes to Nick Bare, Lord have mercy, I know this is going to be a long episode. It's already 25 minutes. Oh my goodness. Well, it's going to be a long edit. It is what it is. This is a good episode. But anyway, Nick Bare took it upon himself to learn branding, photography, videography, editing, storytelling, upgrading his filmmaking gear and audio, then creating an in-house content team that creates even better content than what he was producing by himself. It's a really impressive story to watch, especially on YouTube with his older videos, especially seeing him create his own logos and things like that. Like, dude did it all, man. He did it all. He did it all. And so now that he knows what he's doing, because he did it all, he knew who he needed to hire to make it even better. And once again, Sour Strip's branding is immaculate. BPN's branding is immaculate. But it wasn't in the beginning, obviously. I mean, it was absolute trash, dumpster fire. But man, does it give us hope. Man, isn't it goals when we see how bad Nick Bare's YouTube videos were in the beginning, how bad the branding was for his pre-workouts and his creatine and all the things, and now how they got honeycombs and they follow details and they like do funky colors and stuff for different holidays and different BPN athletes. It's great. Okay? But one thing about Nick is he didn't put the cart before the horse if you live here in the South, okay? He just kept showing up. He just kept showing up and improving, and now he knows who to hire to improve his branding. And his team, his facility, his brand is grossing 40 million, and they keep growing. They keep getting bigger. It's just great to follow. I definitely suggest other entrepreneurs to definitely subscribe to Nick Bear's YouTube channel. I think he has his BPN channel. I don't think they do a lot. They don't post as consistently as he does on his personal channel, but yeah, it's great to follow. It's great to see him growing and just, seeing that, guys, it's not, and this is advice for myself, but it's not, you don't have to have this creative agency. You don't have to have this internal team of like 40 people to create what he has created, man. Like he got a few good men, He got a few good men. And so, oh my goodness, the information is out there. The courses are out there. It just takes time. And unfortunately, as business owner, it never feels like we have time. But if we want to see success in 6 years or 10 years, we're going to have to make the time until we have the resources to hire someone to get our time back. Amen? Amen. Okay, so last but not least, Alani Nu. I think y'all know who Alani Nu is, but maybe you don't. Obviously, I'm a fitness person. I hadn't been in the gym like I should be in these last couple of years, but when I was really into it, I know my things about my fitnesses. And so Alani Nu and BPN kind of battle each other as far as supplements go. But I have also been following, as I've been following BPN and Evan Child, I have been following Katie Hearn, Katie Hearn's Fitness, her husband, because why not follow the whole daggum family, and their small personalized gym in Kentucky since at least 2015 or 2017. And there was a time that I didn't even know that they started Alani Nu, that they were the owners of Alani Nu, until like Hayden, which is her husband, was going over the numbers on an Instagram story. I was like, oh shoot, do you guys own that company? And then I was just like, oh my goodness, this is like a influencer thing. Like just everybody's an influencer, just starts like a brand, like a supplement brand, which actually that is actually literally, that's the thing to do. It's kind of like professional athletes that just once they retire, they go immediately into journalism. It's a great segue. It really does help. And I want to put that segue in there for all of us as entrepreneurs. Just be honest. Like, Alani Nu launched in 2018, okay? And now fast forward to 2024, 6 years later, and their company is grossing $228.4 million. And I looked up a couple days ago, and their business is valued at $3 billion because she's thinking about selling it, right? So let's just talk about that for a second. Like 6 years to get to $228.4 million a year. That's what they're making, and then having the company valued at $3 billion if they want to sell. Now I want to make this disclaimer, especially for Katie Hearn and also Max Chewing, right? These individuals leverage their influence on social media. Okay, I believe that Katie had a huge following before she started the gym, before she started Alani Nu. I think it was just her Katie Hearn Fitness, right? But back then it was like really easy to like get a mass following, because Evan did the same thing when I think about it. She and this is pretty much what this episode was about anyway, but she, when I think about it, leveraged her social media as well to start, Alpha Female program, to have the small gym, and then grow to Vanguard, and then have now Alpha Forward, and now that's rebranded to Novell, right? They use their influence, they use social media. But I'm going to say they still had to build the social media up, to build the following, to then go into the brand that's outside of their influence, that's outside of their social media pages, right? So it might take us longer, but branding is very important. Social media is very important. Having that influence there and tying that into your business is very important, because it is quite crazy to see Alani Nu that was started 6 years ago, now $228 million a year, $3 billion company, and having Paris Hilton, having Kim Kardashian, and a model that I do not know her name at the moment, but they do have a model as paid partnerships, as spokespersons, spokeswomen for their brand. To see Hayden's dad on an Instagram story having these little pop-up like mini stations or whatever, like I forget what they're called, there's a fancy word for it, but they're just like little shelves that they put in the corner that they're able to put in the store. From going to that, like his dad having to go physically in these stores and set these things up, to being in every GNC I've ever set foot in and having like 3 rows or 3 shelves of Alani Nu nutrition is just mind blowing to me. It's very motivating, it's very encouraging, but it's just mind blowing to me, because wow. And I feel like it still wasn't overnight. There's still a lot of work that had to be done in the background and had to be done before. But hey, 6 years, 4 years, like I'm seeing a pattern here, or with Evan, starting with Evans, right? Evan Shaw's Fitness, and seeing her over the years since 2014 to being at 2024 and still maybe not grossing 3 million, but still making a really good living. So it's just, I know I went on a rant earlier about, making sure your business doesn't get outran by other people, because that is a possibility. But I mean, still at the end of the day, I mean, if you guys look at their marketing, if you guys look at their advertising, their Instagram, their quality, all the things, like, it's not slouchy. It's not, they're keeping up, and some are outdoing the other ones. But man, I hope that was encouraging just for me to bring it back down to earth for what this whole podcast episode was encouraged by or inspired by. So, there was this thread that I came across that said Instagram has more and more become a place I absolutely dread. I started my account to share insight as a therapist, and now the expectation is everyone is a video editor and producer. It's exhausting, and I can't keep up. So I checked out this therapist's Instagram page, and I saw that she has 450,000 followers. Now, for context, for those who are listening to the podcast, I'm just talking, about a thread that I don't have the name of this individual just off the top of my head, but it was a therapist on Instagram, and she just made the post, and I just read the quote for you. But I checked out her Instagram page, and she has over 450,000 followers. She's a therapist and founder of a boutique therapy practice in Philly. And that Instagram page has 21,000 followers. And then I just wanted to just look at her content, like see the engagement and everything. And one reel from May 21st has 1,060 likes and 55 in-depth 4-sentence long comments. I want to make emphasis on that, because nobody's just sending fire emojis or, hey guys, if you like this advice, hit proposal, and I'll send you the PDF of the proposal. And then it's like 50,000 comments of proposals, and having using a bot to send people proposals, to give them emails, the whole thing, the whole marketing thing, right? But I say all this to say, she feels like she can't keep up. She has 450,000 followers on one page. She has 21,000 followers on the other page. She's getting fairly good engagement, right? And she feels like she can't keep up. And her carousel posts aren't highly curated, and her videos definitely aren't professionally produced. She's shooting them with her phone, which is fine. But she's providing value on Instagram and in her local community. And hopefully she's making a good living regardless of the aesthetic content she really wants to produce. I mean, if anything I've gotten from her, even though she feels like she can't keep up, she's doing pretty good. And she's providing value, and it's not falling on deaf ears. Now in the future, if she does make a profit, she does make more money, and she wants to invest in it, she definitely can, and she definitely should. But look, her shooting stuff with her phone and giving actually good insights. 450,000 followers, 55 in-depth 4-sentence long comments. So I hope she doesn't feel like that anymore. It might be one of those days she just feels like that and she's fine. But I'm just saying, like, you're doing pretty good. You might not feel like it, but you really are. Because I have 32 subscribers on YouTube. And it doesn't bother me. It's just, I gotta start. I gotta get somewhere. And I appreciate every 32 Every 32, that doesn't sound right, but I appreciate every 32 of those subscribers on YouTube because they're actually really kind and I really appreciate it. No one's had said anything like out of pocket. I say that now and then watch me go on there and see something out of pocket, but I have a really good mental foundation to deal with that because I was already mentally prepared before I even started creating content that I was going to have to deal with some trolls. Hadn't came across anyone now, but hey, if I do, kiss my positive attitude. That's all I got to say. So these are my final thoughts. I can't definitively say that immaculate branding and highly produced content is the only way to be a successful business owner. It's the only way. The only way to see success as a business owner is to have immaculate branding and highly produced content. I cannot say that. I cannot say that definitively because I see so many local businesses whose branding and social media content are subpar. Or they're shooting it with their phone. They created their logo with Taylor branding. I think Taylor branding is better than it was back in the day when I was using Taylor branding, but still, it's just very 2D. It's basic. It's just basic. Nothing that stands out. It's not gonna turn heads or anything. But they're still making money. They're still making a good living, right? I think in a future podcast episode, the only downside to making a good living and not doing all that stuff is when somebody does come in, competition comes in and threatens your livelihood. That's probably the only time then it's like, okay, maybe we should look into messaging and marketing that stands out and drives home the point that this is what we do best and that's why you need to choose us over them. Like I said, future podcast episode. But I can say definitively that if you want to gross 3 million, 40 million, 228.4 million a year and have longevity, which is the most important thing here. Like I said, sorry if I keep going off on a rant here. It's just these are the things that are on my mind right now, and these last conversations I've had the past couple of days before I came in here to even shoot this podcast or film this podcast episode is really, really about longevity. Even more than grossing that much a year is longevity, is being around more than 25 years, 50 years, and a pandemic hits or a competitor moves closer and acquires another company nearby and takes all your business. It's about longevity. It is so much about longevity. You are going to have to. You won't have a choice. There's no luxury in a choice. There's there's no choice. If you want to do this, if you want to make this type of money, and if you want to be around for a really long time, and 25 years might feel like a long time until you're about to close your door at year 26. Okay, it's about longevity, and you're gonna have to do this. You're going to have to either learn the different elements of branding until you can outsource it, or create an in-house team to effectively message and market your brand or business. Like I said, you can just show up. There's no pressure right now. There's no pressure on me. My branding is not where it needs to be. Every day I could get better, but I'm doing the best that I can with what I got, and what I got is just me, right? But still, I know where I want to go, how much I want to grow in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, what Alpha Media is going to look like, all the things, because I'm here for the long haul, longevity. I'm not here for 6 years riding a wave of the creator economy. Okay, so that's my little rant. That's my little, my little 2 cents. Okay, because branding in a nutshell is taking different elements to stand out from your competitors and communicate that you're the best service or product every time a customer is ready to buy. And that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm doing. That's what you're going to do with your business. All right. So today's podcast episode was more inspirational than practical, but I wanted to share these entrepreneurs and brands I have been following for years that give me confidence to show up every day when I don't have the answers or my branding isn't just is non-existent, or I've changed it like the 15th time and I need to stop. And I'm very indecisive. It is what it is. But it in time, with practice, with dedication and willingness to fail and learn from my failures, I will have the brand that stands out amongst my competitors, and I'm just going to give it time. I'm just going to give it time. I'm going to plant the seed, and I'm going to enjoy the process of getting better every single day and learning from my mistakes and helping you guys, learn quicker than I did, or spend less money, which is really more important, and take that money and put it elsewhere, reinvest it elsewhere into the business, and yeah, just patiently wait for it to grow. Okay, so thank you for listening to this episode of the Creators Initiative podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please share with a friend, and don't forget to rate this podcast on whatever platform you use. And until the next episode, I don't know where I was going with that, but until the next episode, hope you gain confidence and inspiration to show up your way and on your terms. I will catch you in the next podcast episode upload thingy-mabob, with my hair not continually touching the mic. Until we meet again. I don't know. Just until we meet again. Goodbye.